We live in a generation where almost everything has become an exhibition. People feel the need to show every step, every idea, every goal, and every move, even before achieving any real results. Many talk about what they are going to do, but few actually do it. And in this scenario, silence has become a competitive advantage. There is power in building without announcing. There is intelligence in evolving without needing constant validation from others. Mature people understand that not every plan needs to be shared, not every goal needs to be explained, and not every achievement needs to be displayed immediately. The problem with talking too much about your projects is that it creates a false sense of progress. When someone receives early praise for something they haven't even accomplished yet, the brain interprets that as a small emotional reward. Gradually, the person feels satisfied just by appearing ambitious, without necessarily executing. Those who talk too much about plans usually execute less than they imagine. Silence protects mental energy. When you work on something without excessive exposure, you eliminate some of the pressure, negative opinions, and especially external distractions. You start to focus on the process instead of trying to impress people. Many people give up not because the project was bad, but because they allowed external opinions to weaken their conviction. There are dreams that die before they are born because they were shared too early with people who have never built anything relevant. Limited people often project their own fears onto others. When someone says that your goal is impossible, they are often just revealing their own mental limits. Therefore, knowing how to filter who has access to your plans is a strategic skill. Silence does not mean insecurity, it means emotional intelligence. It means understanding that results speak louder than promises. Silent movement produces stronger results than publicly displayed motivation. Another important point is that excessive exposure increases unnecessary distractions. When you share everything, you start spending energy managing other people's expectations. You answer questions, seek approval, and lose focus trying to maintain an image. Meanwhile, highly productive people direct energy towards execution. They understand that attention is a limited resource. The more distractions enter the routine, the shallower the depth of the work performed becomes. Silence creates clarity. It allows for better thinking. It enables the analysis of mistakes without external interference. It allows for growth without the need for constant comparison. Today, many people are emotionally exhausted because they live for the opinions of others. They post seeking validation. They work thinking about recognition. They build an image before building real competence. This generates anxiety, insecurity, and emotional dependence. Psychologically strong people do not need to announce their evolution all the time. They understand that consistency is worth more than appearance. There is also a strategic issue in silence. Not everyone is rooting for your evolution. Some people come close just to observe, criticize, or compete silently. Excessive exposure gives too much access to your life, your plans, and your vulnerabilities. That's why great entrepreneurs, investors, and high-performance professionals tend to be discreet during important processes. They understand that focus requires mental protection. The bigger the goal, the more important it becomes to protect your energy. Silence also helps in the development of discipline. When no one is watching, you discover the true level of your commitment. It's easy to seem productive in front of others. The hard part is continuing to work when there is no immediate applause. This is the difference between people who want recognition and people who want results. The former works to be seen. The latter works to build something solid. Often, growth happens precisely during the quietest periods of life. These are moments when no one notices your evolution, but you are learning, studying, making mistakes, adjusting strategies, and laying the groundwork for something greater in the future. The problem is that most people give up early because they want visible results too quickly. They want recognition before competence, they want status before building. But true success rarely comes from haste. Every solid construction requires periods of isolation, concentration, and invisible work. Just as a root grows before the tree appears, successful people often spend a lot of time evolving away from the spotlight. Another benefit of silence is avoiding unnecessary comparisons. The more you expose yourself, the more you tend to measure your life against the lives of others. This destroys focus. Each person has a different time for growth, learning, and results. When you learn to be silent, you start to listen more to your own conscience and less to external noise. This increases mental clarity and strengthens decisions. Silence does not delay your success. Often, it protects your success. In the end, truly strong people do not feel the need to prove their worth all the time. They understand that consistent results speak for themselves. While many are busy trying to look important, others are quietly building wealth, knowledge, discipline, and freedom. And perhaps this is the greatest lesson. Those who learn to control their own need for validation develop one of the rarest skills of modern life: the ability to remain focused, disciplined, and strategic even without immediate recognition. And there is another reality that few people like to admit. The more you expose your projects, the more you become a target of the silent envy of others. Not everyone who follows your life sincerely wishes for your growth. Some observe out of curiosity, others watch for comparison. And there are those who feel bothered when they notice that you are trying to move out of a level where they have remained for years. Jealousy rarely appears in a direct form. Often, it arises disguised as negative advice, jokes, demotivation, or constant criticism. Frustrated people tend to feel uncomfortable when someone close begins to evolve because it forces them to confront their own stagnation. Therefore, the sooner you learn to protect your projects, the better your ability to grow in peace becomes. Not everyone deserves access to their dreams while they are still being built. Many people destroy their own focus by trying to convince others that their goals make sense. They spend energy explaining plans, seeking approval, and trying to gain emotional support from people who have never had the discipline to build anything relevant. However, great results usually start quietly, discreetly, and even invisibly to those on the outside. There is a huge difference between sharing established achievements and exposing fragile processes that are still in the early stages. When a project is still in development, it needs mental protection, it needs focus, it needs emotional stability. Wrong opinions at the wrong time can weaken even talented people. Furthermore, when you maintain discretion, you reduce unnecessary comparisons and avoid creating external expectations about something that is still being structured. This decreases anxiety and increases the freedom to make mistakes, adjust strategies, and evolve naturally. Smart people understand that not every victory needs to be announced immediately. Some of the greatest evolutions happen away from social media, away from public validation, and away from external noise. While many seek attention, others are quietly building wealth, knowledge, and independence. The noise impresses for a few minutes, the consistent result impresses for years. Another important issue is that excessive exposure creates emotional vulnerability. The more people know about your life, the greater the chances of receiving negative energy, judgments, and criticisms that distract from your main focus. Not always is the problem spiritual or emotional in a symbolic sense. Often it is psychological. The human brain constantly absorbs environments, opinions, and social tensions. When you surround yourself with negativity, doubts, and comparisons, your performance naturally decreases. Therefore, protecting your mind is part of the process of enriching and growing in life. Disciplined people understand that focus is an asset, mental energy is an asset, emotional clarity is an asset. Those who lose this easily end up sabotaging their own future without realizing it. There is a reason why many people only show results after they have already won. They understand that during the building phase, silence acts as a strategic protection. Silence avoids distractions, it avoids emotional wear, it avoids unnecessary interference, and most importantly, it prevents your energy from being wasted trying to prove something to others. In the end, maturity is understanding that you don't need to announce every step to validate your progress. Because really strong people don't feel the constant need to be seen. They are too busy building the life they have always wanted. Work so quietly that your results make the noise for you. But that doesn't mean walking alone all the time. There is a difference between protecting your projects and isolating yourself from people who can truly accelerate your growth. Smart people do not share their plans with just anyone. They carefully choose who will have access to their ideas, goals, and strategies because they understand that certain conversations can completely change the pace of growth. Talk about your projects only with people who add real value. People who have experience, vision, discipline, and the ability to contribute to your evolution. People who have already built something concrete. People who understand the path and can see opportunities that you may not yet see. Advice from those who have never succeeded can delay years of your life. Many people seek opinions from those who are emotionally, financially, and professionally unprepared. Then they wonder why they lost motivation. The environment directly influences your mindset, and the people around you directly influence your level of ambition. When you talk to limited people, you usually receive fear, insecurity, and doubt. When you talk to strategic people, you receive direction, clarity, and solutions. Therefore, maturity is learning to filter opinions. Not all criticism deserves attention. Not all friendships deserve access to your plans. And not everyone who is close to you is prepared to see your evolution. People who add value accelerate processes. They save you time, avoid unnecessary mistakes, and help you see greater possibilities. A single right connection can shorten years of trial and error. In the world of business, finance, and personal growth, smart relationships are a strategic advantage. You don't need to know thousands of people. You need to be close to the right people. Strong environments create strong mindsets. Big entrepreneurs, investors, and high-performance professionals understand this clearly. They protect energy but also value quality connections. They know that growing alone is slower and more exhausting. When you meet disciplined, visionary, and focused people, your mental standard naturally changes. You start to think bigger, you begin to act more strategically, you start to notice opportunities that once seemed distant. At the same time, the more you evolve, the more important it becomes to reduce interaction with negative, complacent, and directionless people. Because energy is contagious, mindset is too. Those who constantly complain contaminate environments. Those who seek solutions strengthen environments. There is a reason why successful people often value networking, mentorship, and growth circles so much. They know that the right information at the right time can transform results. But for that, it is necessary humility to learn and intelligence to listen to those who truly have authority on the subject. Many people fail because they listen to too many opinions from people who have never reached where they want to go. If someone hasn't built the result you're looking for, be careful about making that person a reference. This applies to money, business, discipline, and life. Your projects need protection, but they also need direction. And direction usually comes from more prepared, more experienced, and more aware people of the path you wish to take. In the end, evolution does not depend only on how much you work. It also depends on who influences your mind daily. Because the right people not only support your goals, they expand your vision, raise your standards, and accelerate your ability to grow. And perhaps this is one of the most important decisions in life, to carefully choose who will have access to your dreams before they become reality. In the end, silence is not weakness. It is strategy. It is maturity. It is focused attention on what truly matters. While many people spend energy trying to impress others, smart individuals are building real results away from the constant need for validation. They understand that success does not come from noise. It comes from the quiet consistency of those who keep working even without immediate recognition. Silence protects your mind, protects your energy, and protects your projects while they are still growing. Because every strong construction first goes through an invisible phase. At the same time, maturity is also understanding that you don't have to walk completely alone. The difference lies in selecting who deserves access to your goals. The right people can accelerate your evolution. The wrong people can delay years of your life. Therefore, learn to filter environments, friendships, and opinions. Not every piece of advice deserves a place in your mind. Not every presence deserves a place in your journey. Your future directly depends on what you allow to influence your mind daily. Great results are often built in silence, discipline, and discretion. While many are busy trying to look successful, others are quietly developing skills, building wealth, strengthening the mind, and creating freedom. And this may be one of the greatest competitive advantages of modern life, knowing how to remain silent while working, evolving, and growing strategically. Because when you learn to control the need for approval, comparison, and constant exposure, you start to develop something rare: clarity. And people with clarity make better decisions, waste less energy, and are able to stay focused for much longer. In the end, it won't be the number of people following your life that defines your success. It will be your ability to remain disciplined when no one is watching. Focus less on announcing your next steps and more on building a life that doesn't even need explanations. Let people doubt, let them underestimate, keep working, keep learning, keep evolving in silence. Because true results have an inevitable characteristic. Sooner or later, they speak for themselves. Did you like the video? Leave a like and subscribe to the channel so I can help you in your growth. See you later.